Hello and welcome to an Everyday Canines video. This is the Garden Agility series and this is episode 2. In this episode we're going to be looking at how you can use objects in your garden to teach a wing wrap. So in this video we're going to be looking at wing wraps. Wing wraps are one of the fundamental things you'll be teaching when you'll be doing your agility. They're going to be, a lot of these you'll see on course. So first of all I want to talk about a couple of safety things. If you've watched my video on jump commitment, you'll understand that this is our jump for the process of this arrangement back in the back garden. We've got 2 flower pots. They're nice and round and big to help the dog go around, and that is also good because if you think about it, think of the size of a wing. If you make these objects too small, you're going to get the dog turned really tightly, but it's unnecessary. So we've got some nice pots. We've also got a piece of foam insulation as our jump, because this is what I had handy. As I said in the other video, you could use the stick off a broomstick, or you could use a pile of books, or just something that goes in the middle. Whatever it is, it shouldn't be anything that they can hurt themselves on if they did clip it, which would be very unlikely. So this is lovely, it's lovely and soft. Now the thing to remember when you're teaching a skill like this in a tight space is, first of all, you don't want any height on the obstacle, because as soon as you put height onto it, especially if it's got to be a full height dog, it makes it difficult for the dog to turn in a tight space. They can't land and turn, and you're risking injury. And the thing is, we're teaching a skill right now. We do not need the height. We can worry about the height when you've got more room, when you can get to a club and do that. So we're going to teach the skill first, worry about the height second. Also remember, this is not a game I would teach with puppies under 9 months. I would say that certainly small dogs, by about 9 months, you could start to consider teaching them doing wing wraps. With dogs that could be large, like border collies, I would might even wait to a year. And yes, that is perhaps conservative compared to some people, but I have seen a lot of dogs with shoulder injuries because they've done too much work at a young age. And at the end of the day, there's so much foundation you can do with a puppy that does not involve doing this. And once they get to doing it, hopefully you'll have a lovely long career. You could have a decade or so doing agility with them. So why rush that initial stage and risk them being injured so they can't do it? Anyway, we're going to have a look at these wing wraps, and we're going to show you what the ultimate goal is with Sparrow, who is a grade 7 dog. Now Sparrow has got grass stuck to her. Sparrow has bespoke cues for her directional wing wraps. Sparrow, break. So if I say check, 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 she should turn tightly right. There is always a should here because it's Sparrow. Good, that was good. And if I say loop, 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 see that's a should. Okay, loop, madam. Listen, loop, loop, yes. So if I say loop, loop, she should turn left. So say there's always a should with Sparrow. But not everybody has directional wing wraps, and they are hard to teach. She is being retrained. We've only been retraining them for 18 months. So they are a big thing to teach, especially when she didn't have directionals learning them. So some people just have the same cue for each wing, and they rely on their body position to tell the dog where it's going. So if I'm this side and I send the dog to that wing and I'm saying my wing wrap cue, say for instance it was tight. So I was saying tight, tight, tight. Because of my body line, the dog should take that wing, it shouldn't flick that way, and the same applies to that way. So if you want to do directional cues, it is slightly hard. I will tell you a bit about how you can do them, but this is also something you could just teach your basics. So how we're going to teach this wing wrap, it's we're going to use a target. There are lots of ways to teach wing wraps, and I think I've taught a different way to each of my dogs, but this one is, I quite like this one. We're going to use a target. We're using a just a lid, plastic lid. You could use a toy or even a treat ball, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure my dog understands that it's a target. Good, good girl. You could even use a food bowl. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it there behind the pole, and I'm going to bring Swift here. Now obviously she doesn't know what a wing wrap is. Swift, come here. I think you dropped something. I didn't. And I'm going to hold it there so she can see it. Okay, get it. And she's just going to go straight over to it. Good girl. Okay, come here. Can you sit? I'm going to do another one. Get it. Good girl. Okay, come here. Ready? Sit. Gonna move it a little bit now. It should still be in her line of sight, just. But she's now gonna have to turn a bit more. Get it. Yeah, good girl. Okay. Nice thing with this is they actually are looking down as well. They're not looking at me, they're looking at what they're doing. Get it. Good girl. So of course we're moving it round, the target round. Okay, sit. So we're going to get here. You can obviously take this at your dog's pace. She obviously knows what she's doing, but you're going to take it steady and work little by little. Okay. Now when we start to get to this stage, it's tempting for the dog to choose the shorter distance to go round to it and get it that way, especially as they can't see it this way now, but can just about see it there. So I'm going to just make sure my leg is out to stop them doing that. Okay, get it. Good girl. And if you've got a dog, if you do those early stages a lot, hopefully this should be a natural transition. But if you do have a dog that's tempted to cut in, you may just need to stand close just to make sure they can't. Oh, I know, I've used my arm, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, I wasn't quite ready for you. Okay. Okay, sit. So we're going to move it around a bit more. Get it. Now at this stage, I'm not using any word apart from get it, which means go get the treat. So I'm not using any cue at this stage. Good girl. Now, we're now to a point that this is pretty much, it's nearly a full wing wrap. Okay. Ready. Get it. Good girl. So now we're at this stage, I'm not going to have the treat on there before she goes. I'm going to put it on there, she goes, okay, get it, good girl. This also means that I can stand back, because if there was a treat on there and I stood back and she cut in and got the treat, I know I'm dropping sausage everywhere, Swift, then I would be rewarding that and it wouldn't be really helpful. But because there's nothing on there, okay, get it, yes. Even if she does cut across me and get to it, she's not going to get anything. So now we've reached that stage. Good girl. Now I've reached that stage, we're going to switch to a treat ball. So now I've got a treat ball. Again, this could be your dog's favourite toy, it could be something. But now there isn't going to be a target on the ground, instead I'm going to throw in the treat ball. Now this is a stage you're going to have to play with, because your dog might decide that there's no target there, I don't do the behaviour. So it might be a case that you do 2 with a target, then you do 2 where there's a target, but you throw the toy. Then you're going to remove the target. So you're going to play with this and it could take a few sessions. Okay, get it. Yay, get it. And I'm just going to throw the toy in. Now at this stage, it's time to start adding in a cue. Now, as I said before, Swift, come here. My right turn is check, check. So if you were doing this and you had just one cue, it wouldn't matter. You'd say check, check. As long as your dog was coming on this arm, check, check would mean there. If your dog was coming on this arm, check, check would mean there. The problem comes, if you haven't got directional cues, is if you want them to turn away from you, you're then going to have to push them away, or you're going to have to sort of add another cue that means just turn away. But if you've got directional cues, you can now start to add them. We've obviously got them doing that, and would do the same on the other wing. I'm just showing you one for the sake of the video, but we're now going to add words. What I would do, I'd release her. Okay, break, check, 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 check. And as she's performing the move, I'm adding in the cue. Good girl. Now, depending on what you've been using originally to get them to go, it might be that you've been just saying break, get it, whatever. You're going to say that first, then you're going to add in your cue that you want it to be on. Ready? Swift? You didn't drop any, my love. Come here. Ready? Ready? Oh, you're teaching. Ready? Okay, go. Check, 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 check. Yes. And that's how you're going to start building this up. It's going to take you a long while to get the words to mean turn right. Swift. So obviously on this one I got loop. So we're going to go loop. Now you see, because she's been doing that, we've got the problem. She says, you didn't say anything, mother, so I'm just going to turn the way you told me to do before. So when you're doing this with your dogs, make sure you've done a few turns before you start adding in the cue so they know which way they're doing. So you do this with a target a few times, then add in the cue, because else they're going to get confused. Okay, ready? Okay, loop, loop, loop. Yes. It's going to take months for you to build up to have true directionals on a verbal. Good girl. But they are worth it in the end if you've got the patience for them. That being said, you can get by perfectly well with only one single cue. Hope you've enjoyed our video today. Thank you for watching this Everyday Canines video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. And I hope to see you again very, very soon.